Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Okay, Hebrews, you got all these organizations, religions, and secret societies making these futuristic plans. I'm talking about they got a lot of plans, and they got big plans, and all they plans, if you examine them, they don't consist of the Israelites. It don't consist of the Israelites. And this what the enemies done did, and they ultra slick. I'm talking about they been popping game for thousands of years. How about that they done made, the return of them Jews? They try to make it seem like that done fulfilled prophecy. Okay, now that that's done and out of the way and supposed to be fulfilled, now they want to usher in this new one world government, a one world order, where a whole nother system is in control that's not, controlled by biblical history, as biblical prophecy prophesies the Israelites' restoration and being in the utopia, which is free of Canaanite administrative structure. Okay, Hebrews, they got all these organizations, the New World Order organizations, the so-called Illuminatis. Now, we know the Masons exist, and we know all these religions exist, and, all of them got plans about how the world should be, excluded the Israelites. We ain't nowhere on the agenda, and what they think is that the real Israelites are in non-existence because the Jews have fulfilled the so-called prophecies of return, the Israelites being restored. But if you look at the people who are professing to be Israelites, and you look at how they function and how they've been functioning since the covenant was broken, and we know the covenant was broken during the Babylonian Wars, as Tanakh history state, in that these people who profess to be Israelites haven't suffered none of the curses that Prophet Moses said would be on the Israelites when the covenant was broken. It was impossible to be successful outside the promised land. Impossible to be successful outside the promised land as a whole once the covenant was broken. Yet these people managed to control the world and basically leading the philosophy with this one world government. This one world government. Like I say, all these organizations got these futuristic plans, and it don't include the Israelites. And we know that the Creator have a plan for the Israelites, and that the Israelites supposed to be restored after the covenant was broken. And I got history show that the people from the transatlantic slave trade are the actual Israelites that broke the covenant and are actually living the conditions of the curses that Prophet Moses prophesies in the strange land, and how we will wither away in our enemy's land, as described in the book of Leviticus, and as well as Deuteronomy 28, the curses. But Hebrews, they got all these plans. They got all these plans without us Israelites. They got all these plans without us Israelites. And then how did these peoples want to run the world without us Israelites being involved? You know what I'm saying? The one world government and so forth, and how don't none of this stuff line up with Tanakh history. And I can show that prophecy's been on time since the Creator gave the law to Moses and the covenant was broken. I can show how, history, been on time, and how prophecy been on time, and how history align up with prophecy, and how I can show that the Creator ain't mentioned no one world government ruling the Israelites. And then I'm gonna tell you something else, Hebrews, that the people who's trying to start this one world government stuff is the same people who's trying to get up in space and live. And we know that if this Amorite culture that exists today get up in space and start seeding the heavens with the wickedness, and the wickedness that's on earth start seeding the heavens, that's a bad thing. And that's not what the Creator wanted. And that's not in the Creator prophecies for the peoples that's not Israelites to take their wickedness off into the heavens and see the heavens. That's one of the reasons why the Creator wanted his culture, that he gave the Israelites the new law, a new covenant, nothing like the Canaanite culture that we Israelites were supposed to destroy, but a culture and a law that was just. I just recently did a video about the Amorite administrative structure, and how that the Amorite administrative structure that come from Babylon, the contracts, and basically capitalism, and how it function is here upon us today. And it's the same Canaanite culture that the Creator wanted destroyed back in the BC days when we had exited Egypt. It's the same exact culture and the same exact people. The Amorites run, this wicked culture that, squeezing the life out the earth and so forth, and man, and them people got a whole lot of plans, but none of their plans include the real Israelites, which show that their plans will not, succeed, and that it's going to come to naught, and that it's going to come to failure, because their plans don't include the real Israelites, and how the whole world been blind to who the real Israelites are, because the Israelites abandon their heritage for the Egyptian religion. And it's a thing how the Illuminatis and the other secret organizations use the Egyptian symbolism throughout their organizations and institutions, and how the Egyptian paraphernalia is prevalent in them organizations. And guess what? Hebrews, the Egyptian culture is what caused the Israelites to break covenant. I'm going to try to cover that when I go into this Tanakh history. But I want to show, the reason why we Israelites are suffering now is because the Creator hid his face from us, because we got into the promised land and didn't fulfill our duties, and we didn't initiate the culture that the Creator gave us. We didn't hold it down, and we was kicked out. So the Creator had told us long time ago, when we exited Egypt, how he would, hide his face from us. And I can show that while the Creator face is hid, is while these peoples, while we off the covenant and going through the curses, is how our enemies are trying to usher in some futuristic plans that don't include us Israelites, and how we Israelites got to wake up. We got to wake up, else their plans will succeed. They done did a whole lot of things in the scriptures that outline that how the Israelites could be thrown off forever, for like measuring the heavens and measuring the seas, and having, light by night, that you don't need the moon and so forth. Our enemies done accomplished a lot of things. So we Israelites got to wake up, because time is running out. Time is running out. They putting in a new system, and then that's like that Bill Gates, devil. That Bill Gates devil is so evil and wicked. That Bill Gates devil. That Bill Gates devil. It's the Grim Reaper. Guess what? Look, and then he'll say, look, he the Grim Reaper, and then he'll say, oh, I ain't doing the vaccination, and I ain't causing people to take no vaccination, and how this devil is lying, and he not personally in the laboratory doing it, but how his money secretly is funding companies that do research to eliminate the pigmented population. Yeah, Bill Gates is the Grim Reaper. You know, and he doing big things for his organization far as getting rid of the pigmented population on Earth. And he always in Africa injecting folks and injecting them Africans left and right. And then, you know, they're going to be gone before long. And how this devil can't cure about nobody, because you got all these hungry and homeless people. Take care of that first before you start talking about injecting folks. But how this Bill Gates devil got this coronavirus hooked up. Everybody know he behind it. You know, people ain't foolish and people ain't dumb. And how he the Grim Reaper, and then how he got this virus out, and then how the government, they all in it together, the one world governments, and how they trying to get the peoples to wear masks. And everybody been wearing masks for a while. Now all of a sudden they gonna say that they got a vaccination, and then you don't have to wear the mask, and people gonna rush and take the vaccination, and the whole population gonna disappear in about 10 years, fooling with them devils. That's why come we Israelites need to wake up. We got to wake up. If we don't wake up, these devils like this gonna keep doing harm to the earth. They gonna keep doing harm to the earth. And it's like the Creator didn't want this culture to exist that exists now, because, you know, it bring harm to the Creator's creation. And how did this devil want everybody to get vaccinated with the vaccines that they done come up in their laboratories? They control all the vaccination laboratory companies, and they try to say, oh, they impartial, and how did he controlled all of them. Even if one of them was to do impartial studies to see if it's poisons in a vaccination, which is all made of poisons, that he controlled them companies too. You know, these folks are devils, and he's the evilest one. This the Grim Reaper there, and he been injecting the whole Africa. Yeah, that's that devil right there. That's him. Bill Gates, and he with that one world government too. And they want to stuff the Israelites light out, because guess what? The culture and the structure that they trying to set up, it is not in agreement with what the Creator wanted for the Israelites. It's not in agreement with what the Creator wanted for the Israelites. You know, this culture that they trying to usher in this new one world order, the Creator didn't want the Israelites to be governed by that. And how that when the Creator gave us Israelites the covenant coming from Egypt, how that covenant was supposed to change the whole earth, and was supposed to get rid of the evil, wicked Canaanite culture that come from the fallen angelic beings. Yes, the Canaanite culture from the Amorites come from the fallen angelic beings. And man, I could prove this easy. How, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you ever heard of the Perizzites? The Perizzites and the Hittites, you know, how they are not listed among Cain descendants, but how the Perizzites, you know, it's like this. Look. But thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, as the Elohim thy Yah had commanded thee. And then check this out. If you go to let me see, this is gonna be Joshua 17:15. you're going to see that the Perizzites is associated with the giants. And that's how the Kenite tribes were affected with the giants, the fallen angelic beings. And the fallen angelic beings created that evil, wicked culture that the Kenite practiced also. Alright, let me see what I said. Joshua 17:15. Alright, now look, you see the Perizzites. What I was showing with the Perizzites are the fallen angelic beings, descendants that mix with the Kenite tribes. And they had an evil, wicked culture that we Israelites were supposed to get rid of, because their culture is unjust, like the culture that we have today. It's unjust. There's no justice in it. It got fake justice. Look, Joshua 17:15. And Joshua answered them, if thou be a Greek people, then get thee up to the wood country and cut down for thyselves in the land of the Perizzites. You see that? In the land of the Perizzites, of the giants. If Mount Ephraim be too narrow of thee. But you see, the Perizzites were the giants, and the giants are the fallen angelic beings. The giants that we didn't, you know what I'm saying, that we were supposed to have destroyed. And then also their culture. And that Amorite culture went from Egypt all the way to Mesopotamia and Babylon, because Babylon is controlled by the Amorites. So the Amorite tribes will be, mixed in with them fallen angelic beings. And then that's one of the reasons why come this is said here. If you go to Isaiah 14, and it says, for the Elohim will have mercy on Jacob. That means Jacob gonna be messed up somewhere, tore up, for the Creator to have mercy on him, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Elohim for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Well, we know this ain't came to pass, and this is what we wanting to come to pass by us Israelites waking up to that we are the Israelites, and that we have to resist this Canaanite culture, this new world order that they trying to usher in, which just consists of the same wickedness that the Canaanite culture produced. Alright, but this didn't come to pass right here. But I'm going to show you the part how old Lucifer, the fallen angelic being, is fallen from heaven. So we know if he fallen from heaven down to the earth and did weaken the nations, then we know that, the people that, got the power that's weakening the nations, go 9 out of 10 be the Lucifer dude. You know what I'm saying? Alright. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Elohim shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage, wherein thou was made to serve. And sure enough, we ain't had no harder bondage than this 400-year bondage that our ancestors been going through, and how we been going through, and how we been suffering at the hands of these beasts and so forth. And this what we suffer from breaking the covenant, and then we caught up in the Canaanite culture. The Canaanite culture ain't no joke. Alright. That thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon, and say, and this is a Babylonian culture, as they got the Babylonian god Nabu on the door of the Congress or the library, where all the books and the information and knowledge at, and also established how to set parties that the Amorites set America up and its first institutions and so forth, and how this is Babylon. The laws and the governance and the contracts and the administration come from Babylon, and the medical practice come from Egypt. Alright, and how are
thy oppressors cease, the golden city cease. The Elohim had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people with wrath, with a continual stroke. With a continual stroke, man. I'm talking about they been beating us down since the day, man, that we left. Ain't no people on the face of this earth been held in captivity as long as we have. There's no documented people on the face of this earth being held in captivity as long as we have. So that's showing up a continual stroke. And he had ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir tree rejoices at thee, and the cedar of Lebanon singing. Since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread over thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son in the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground that weakens the nations? For thou hast said in thee in heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. See, that's what the devil's been trying to do with their space initiative and with this one world government, that they can have control, and then they can get up in space, and then they can see the whole universe with wickedness. See, that's what the Creator didn't want, and that's why we were supposed to put the Canaanites' lights out, so that the whole heavens didn't get seeded with wickedness. See, right now, if these devils get up into space and get to going to all these other planets like they trying to do, then they gonna seed the whole galaxy and the earth with wickedness. And that's what the Creator didn't want. And that's why we Israelites got to wake up and stop doing these people wickedness and come into our heritage and into the knowledge of who we are, so we can resist these folks and we can break their evil plan up. Look, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and shall consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? You know what I'm saying? That's our enemies, and that's the mindset that they got, is to get up in space and take their wickedness to another space. That's like with the Tower of Babel, but before the Creator destroyed it and broke it all up, how the Creator said how they gonna have one man and try to get up into the heavens and so forth, and how that they mischief would be on par and stuff, and how that they have one evil man and stuff. Well, the Creator broke that up and dispersed the people, which created all these different nations. But how these peoples, these Amorites, are trying to create this one world government to bring them all back together. And not only that, but to get up in space and seed the heavens with wickedness. But you see, the Creator said that he gonna be brought down to the earth. And that's another thing that, it's like when the Tanakh talk about that beast, that snake that's supposed to be bruising Eve's head, and how we will bruise his heel. Now, what snake got a heel? What snake got a heel? He talking about the characteristics of them folks when he called them beasts and so forth, and when they describes as snakes, because they have the same characteristics as a snake. A snake will bite you, and it's just part of his nature. They got snake-like nature and stuff, and then that's why that was said, because we know ain't no snake got no heel. You know, we know ain't no snake got no heel and so forth, and how when that was said that the Creator was talking about, you know, the that the that was a Herman. Let me see if I can find that. Alright. Now the serpent was suitable. Alright. When you go to Genesis 3 and 3:15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. He talking about old Iblis, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now what snake got a heel? You see what I'm saying? That's a Herman. That's the same way that as in when the book of Jonah was written, and then they went to Nineveh. He went to Nineveh, and he told them, the people, that it was an order given to put sackcloth on the beasts, and that they shouldn't drink no water, and let no evil get in their hand. Now what beast got evil in his hand? You know what I'm saying? What beast can have evil in his hand and so forth? Let me see if I can find that. Alright. Let me see. Alright. Alright. This is Jonah. And you know, he had come into the city. This is Jonah 3 verse 7. And he caused it to be proclaimed and published throughout Nineveh by decree of the king and his nobles, saying, let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock, taste anything. Let them not feed nor drink water, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth and cry mightily unto Yah. Now what beast is they finna cover with sackcloth, and then he be crying mightily to the Creator? Look, who can tell if the Elohim, let me see. But let man and beast be covered with sackcloth and cry mightily unto Yah. Yeah, let them turn everyone from his evil way and from the violence that is in his hands. Now what beast finna have violence in his hands? You know, and why would they put sackcloth on animals? Those were those peoples from the Caucasus Mountain in Turkey that was kicking it into Syria, that I got plenty videos explaining. You know, I got a little video up now going into how them devils was underground and so forth, and how that the devils underground is where the troubles come from, because the Hittites and the Prizzites and all them were connected to the fallen angelic beings, the Amorites, and the Amorites are built Babylon, and from Canaan to Babylon, and then that evil, wicked culture that they produce is what's governing the earth now. You know, it's what's governing the earth now.
Deep in the earth, taking up residence in well-stocked caves and tunnels beneath their land.
Man, they gonna tell you that them folks come from underground, and this where they come from. They come from underground. Non-pigmented folks, and this is where they live back in the BC days. And then these the folks that would cause all the trouble on earth, the beasts, and the folks that didn't have no ignition. They come from underground, and then they come off and up underground with the wickedness. And then, you know, they went to Assyria and took Babylon over. And then when we start being evil and wicked, then they come drove us up out the land. But how all those, you know, evil, wicked people would be mixed in with the Canaanite tribes. And the Canaanite tribes are the people that we were supposed to destroy. You know, some of the people that we were supposed to destroy. And then, like I said, that's one of the reasons why the Creator hid his face from us, because we didn't get rid of that evil, wicked Canaanite culture, and he was going to let it devour us. And I'm going to read some of them verses, and then I'm going to show how we should have been the holy people, and how we are still the Creator's chosen people that's supposed to resist the Canaanite evil, wicked culture. You know? And there's a lot going on, Hebrews, but we're going to get this understanding, and this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All right, let's go to get an understanding why we going through this suffering, and we ain't got the Creator to help us get rid of this evil, wicked culture that's on us, in these futuristic plans that our enemies trying to bring into existence, and how that they unfolding on us, and we need help from the Creator. But the Creator said that He'll turn His face from us. Once the covenant was broken, to our enemies devour us. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 31. That'll be Deuteronomy 31. Let's see. All right, Deuteronomy 31. Yeah, this Canaanite culture that's governing the earth now is destroying the earth. All right. Then my anger shall be kindled against them. All right. And the Elohim said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people shall rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whether they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in their day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. And many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they shall say in that day, Are not all these evils come upon us, because our Yah is not among us? See, that's why we suffer, because our Yah ain't among us, because we broke the covenant for them evil, wicked folks, religion and worshiping their gods, which got us kicked out the promised land and driven into slavery. All right, let's go to Isaiah 8, and let's see what that say. Because we got to understand why all this suffering, we're going through all this suffering, because the Creator hid His face from us. And that's because we didn't destroy this Canaanite culture, and then they got us on the same Canaanite culture now that we were supposed to destroy. All right, if you go to Isaiah 8:17, and it reads, And I will wait upon the Elohim that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him. See, the Creator hid His face from us, and hid His presence from us, because we broke the covenant. The Creator was with us Israelites all the way up to the time that we broke covenant. From the time that we exited Egypt all the way to we broke covenant in the book of Jeremiah and ran into Africa. Then the Creator hid His face from us, and now our enemies trying to usher in a one world government on us that the Creator ain't endorsed. All right, so we know that the Creator will hide His face from us. All right, let's go to Isaiah 18:4. All right. For so the Elohim said unto me, I would take my rest, and I would consider in my dwelling place like a clear heat upon herbs, and like a cloud of dew in the heat. You know what I'm saying? So the Creator said He'll take His, go kick it in this resting place, while we be devoured. All right, let's go to Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59, message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Isaiah 59. All right, and it says, But your iniquities have separated between you and your Yah, and your sins have hid His face from you, that He would not hear you. You know what I'm saying here? All right. Behold, the Elohim hand is not short that it cannot save, neither His ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your Yah, and your sins have hid His face from you, that He would not hear you. See, that's why come we been getting devoured by our enemies, is because the Creator withdrew His presence from us. And our enemies know this, and then that's why they doing all this evil and wickedness, and then trying to usher in a one world order on us, where we Israelites can be governed by their law forever. But that ain't what the Creator say that the Israelites will be going through. Okay, turn to Hosea 5:15. Alright. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face in their affliction. They will seek me early. And that's what we're going through now. And that's the stage we're trying to be on now. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. See, that's what the enemies don't want us to do. And then that's why they got all this evil and wickedness going on to keep us distracted from what we should be doing and how we should be resisting the Canaanite culture. You know, we should be resisting the Canaanite culture, and then this is the reason, you know, that the Creator told us to destroy the Canaanite culture. You know, let's look at some of this. If we go to Deuteronomy 29, let's see. Canaanite evil, wicked culture is what we supposed to have destroyed. Alright, Deuteronomy 29. There's Deuteronomy 12. These are the statutes which the judgment which ye shall observe to do in the land which the Elohim thy Yah of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it all the days that thou live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods upon the high mountains and upon the hills and upon every green place. That's the first thing. We can't be worshiping no folks' gods. And how about that the enemy gave us a God in the slavery days, Jesus, the New Testament, and how they not said one time, the enemy ain't said one time to worship Almighty Yah from the Tanakh, or what they call the Old Testament, but how he gave you Jesus, and how we should never accept no God that our enemies give us, but how did our ancestors did in the slavery days. They really didn't have no choice. Alright. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves in fire, and ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy their names of them out of that place. Ye shall do so. Ye shall not do so unto the Elohim your Yah, but unto the place which the Elohim your Yah shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek. Alright, let's see. 12:28. Alright. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Elohim thy Yah, when the Elohim thy Yah shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeed them, and dwellest in their land. Take heed to yourselves that thou be not snared by following them. After that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods. He's saying that after we done destroyed them folks, and how we ain't to inquire after their gods and so forth, and how that is an abomination. You know, we ain't supposed to search for their gods and so forth. And again, how worshiping the enemy's gods, how worshiping the enemy's gods will bring the wrath of the Creator on you. You know, worshiping enemies' gods will bring the wrath of the Creator on you. And that's why come the enemies got us on their gods and have us in a belief system, because it brings the wrath of the Creator on the Israelites. Now, they gonna prosper doing evil and wicked. because they've been prospering from doing evil and wicked since the Creator set the decree to destroy them, which we Israelites didn't. Okay. And let's look at this here. Alright. Let me see. And when the Elohim thy Yah shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeed them, and dwell in their land, take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them. After that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. How about this, Hebrews? How about I be bounding, man, I be bounding the enemies up with the history and with the knowledge. I be bounding them up. I be handcuffed them and they bound, ready to be taken to a truth prison. And how about an old stupid, ignorant Hebrew will come along and free them with some ignorance? You know, man, I done had that done a couple of times lately. Why I done bound the enemies with truth, got them handcuffed and bound and locked up, and then showed them the truth. And then here come an old, ignorant, stupid Israelite come along and say, no, that ain't the truth. We lived in Paraguay, we lived in China, and all that old crazy mess. Man, and I be like, oh man, he done just freed the devil, and the devil will hop up and say, yeah, what he say is true. Now I done bound the devil, and the devil know he bound with truth, but an old stupid Israelite will come by and free him. You know, don't you Hebrews hate that when you be done bound the enemies with truth, and then old stupid Israelite will come by and free them with their ignorance? Oh, no, we from Paraguay. We sailed across the Mississippi River during the Syrian times. All that old crazy stuff. You know, you be bounding the enemies with truth, and then old stupid Israelite come along and free them with some ignorance. You know, we got to get past that. That's what's holding us back, is that we don't have one history that we all agree on. And the Israelite Brotherhood have the correctest history in the whole Israelite community. Alright, Hebrews, check this out. You know, like I say, our enemies got futuristic plans. They got all these plans with this new one world government, but not now time had they ever included us real Israelites in their real plan. You know, they included us in their plan. And in that folk, it's how you know that it ain't gonna work, because they didn't include us Israelites in their plan that they got, and how the world been blind on who the real Israelites is, and you know who the real Israelites are. And what they fail to realize is that the real Israelites ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars and never returned to the promised land. The quietest kept history on the face of this earth. And I have a video covering it, and how, you know, I done showed on all the internet sites and how it ain't never been documented, and how our enemies don't know this, and how that this finna be a surprise on them, and how that they one world government and futuristic thoughts finna come to nothing because they didn't include us Israelites, which is the real reality. See, looking at us Israelites that broke covenant and seeing that reality brings you back to real reality, and not the falsehood dreams that our enemies created since we done broke covenant, and the whole records and goodness of history been thrown off. Alright, look, check this out. Alright. Man, let's see. Alright, Isaiah. Yeah, alright. I want to show this how the Creator saying no weapon, you know what I'm saying, formed against us, you know what I'm saying, gonna make it, you know what I'm saying. Alright, this is Isaiah 53. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Elohim revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of the ground. He has no form or no comeliness when he. This is talking about King Josiah. And he despised and rejected. All right, let me see. No, sing, O barren. And I hate when I be having the verses right there and then I turn to something else. All right, fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, the slavery we've been going through, and shalt not remember the reapproach of thy womanhood. Yeah, this is it. All right, sing, O barren, thou that didst not break forth into singing and cry loud, though that didst not travel with child, for more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, said the Elohim. And we sure enough is more of us in destruction than there's more of us doing good. And enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of the habitation. Spare not, let thy cord and strengthen thy stakes, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left hand, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget thy shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. For thy maker is thine husband. The Elohim, the Yah of hosts is his name, the Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the Yah of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Elohim had called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and as a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, said the Yah. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee, and in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with love, everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, said the Elohim thy Redeemer. See, for this is as the waters of Noah unto me, for as I have sworn that the waters of Noah shall no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wrath with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, said the Elohim that hath mercy on thee. O thou afflicted, tossed and tempest, and not confronted, behold, I will lay the stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphire, and I will make the widow of a gate in the gates of carbunacles. Did you see that carbunacles? That's what we had in the Sahara doing trade with, up under our derogatory name called Gramintians. Alright. And all the children shall be taught of the Elohim. Great shall be the peace of the children. In righteousness shall thou be established. See, we can't be established if we up under the one world government that our enemies trying to usher in on us. We can't be established. They ain't gonna allow it. Alright. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment shall be condemned. This is the heritage of the servants of the Elohim, and their righteousness is of me, said the Elohim. So no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. So every tongue and everybody that rise up against us, we got to condemn them. This is the heritage of the servants of the Elohim. You know what I'm saying? His righteous is of me. Alright? So these people's rushing in, trying to usher in this one world government without us Israelites can hang it up. Because the Creator said no weapon formed against us, and they knew world government is a weapon to destroy us, because we Israelites can't be the people we supposed to be and serve the Creator up under their system? We never could. All right, let's see how we the holy people and how the Creator wanted us to be His people on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Exodus 19:5. Let's see what that say. Exodus 19:5. Exodus 19:5. It's 19. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is man's. So all the earth belonged to Almighty Yah. You know what I'm saying? And we would have been a peculiar people, man, if we would have followed and did what He said. Special people on the face of the earth, but we didn't. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy. I think it's Deuteronomy 7. Deuteronomy 7. All right. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Elohim thy Yah. The Elohim thy Yah hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So if we supposed to be a holy people to Almighty Yah, mean above all people on the face of the earth, the Elohim did not set His love upon you nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people, but because the Elohim loved you, and because He would keep the oath which He had sworn unto your fathers, the Elohim brought you out of the mighty with the mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of the bondman from Pharaoh, Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And that's like we need to be brung up out of this bondage now too. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 14:2. Let's see what that say. Deuteronomy 14:2. All right, and it says, ye are the children of the Elohim your Yah. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For thou art an holy people unto the Elohim thy Yah, and the Elohim the Yah had chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto Himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. You see what I'm saying? So we supposed to be a special people unto our Almighty Yah. So we can't be doing the wickedness, men, of our enemies and stuff. We can't be doing the evil and wickedness. That's why we being punished now in captivity. And I'm going to try to get that history in, how we broke the covenant and how we got in the conditions like this. And it come from worshiping our enemies' gods and following their culture. That's like that homosexual gay culture. That's an Amorite culture. I got a video outlining that. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 26. 26, I think it's, what is it, 17? All right. All right. Thou hast vouched the Elohim this day to be thy Yah, and to walk in His ways, and to keep His statutes and His judgments, and hearken unto His voice. And the Elohim thy Yah avouched this day to be His peculiar people, as He had promised thee, and that thou shouldst keep all His commandments, and to make thee high above all the nations which He had made in praise and in name and in honor, that thou mayest be an holy people upon, you know what I'm saying, unto the Elohim. See, we'd have been the holy people above all nations, and it wouldn't be no need for no one world government, because we'd have been leading all the nations as we're gonna do. Is why they trying to usher in a one world government, to be in opposition against the Creator, because we supposed to have a one world government too, where all the nations on the face of this earth follow us and worship Almighty Yah. And our enemies don't want that. All right, let's go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel. Let's see what 2 Samuel say. 2 Samuel 7. That'll be 7:23. Let's see. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom the Elohim want to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their gods. See, we got redeemed from the enemy's gods, me and they nation, when the Creator rescued us from Egypt, because Egypt was like a international nation. Man, they had everybody up in Egypt. All right, let's go to First Kings. First Kings, let me see, that'll be 8. First Kings 8. Man, let's see. First Kings 8:53. Let's see. First Kings 8:53. All right. For thou didst separate them from among all the people. Man, let's see. This spine is messed up. All right. For thou didst separate them from all the people of the earth to be mine inheritance, as thou spakest by the hand of Moses, thy servant, when thou broughtest our fathers out of Egypt, O Elohim Yah. See, we supposed to be a special people to the Creator. Now let's go to 10:9. 10:9. All right. Blessed be the Elohim thy Yah, which delighted in thee to set thee on the throne of Israel. But let me see. No, this will be the First Kings. First Kings 10:9. All right. Israel, for that but they made he king, so to do judgment. Alright. Alright, let's go to Chronicles. Let me see. How about Chronicles? First Chronicles 17. Alright, First Chronicles 17. Yeah, we can't do the one world order thing. We got to come into our heritage. We can't keep letting these people rule over us. We can't keep letting these folks rule over us. So we already know that we supposed to be the people that Almighty Yah want us to be, and that we broke covenant is why he turned his back on us. And then that's why our enemies popping all these games and stuff, because the Creator turned his back on us. Alright, let's go to 17:20. Alright, O Elohim, there is none like thee, neither is there any Yah beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what nation in the earth is like thy people Israel, whom Yah went to redeem, to be his own people, to make thee a name of greatness and terribleness, by driving out the nations from before thee, and whom thou hast redeemed out of Egypt. All right, Hebrews. Let's look at some of these verses that show how we broke covenant. And we broke covenant like this. When we come out of Egypt, we already, I got plenty of videos establishing how the Egyptians had to do trade on the other side of the promised land, and then how that we having that covenant, that the Creator gave us, was supposed to get rid of the Egyptian Canaanite culture, and we was in the middle of the evil and wickedness, and how Egypt couldn't go across the promised land, and how the people in Mesopotamia couldn't bring their evil and wickedness to Africa, and how we was to stop that by having the covenant, and how that the Egyptians tricked us by putting us on their religion. And then, from there it was downhill. In the last act that we did on the promised land that got us driven out will be in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, when we Hebrews told the prophet this, that we was going into Egypt to worship the Egyptian religion. I got videos explaining who drove us out the promised land, who inherited our covenant, and everything. It's all covered. It's covered all which ways. But if you go to Jeremiah chapter 44, we're going to see that we Hebrews ran into Africa to do the Egyptian religion, and that these people that ran into Africa, which is the Sahara, to do the Egyptian religion, never returned home. And we are the people, that was enslaved, that was promised to be enslaved. It was a promise to enslave those Israelites that broke the covenant for the Egyptian religion. That's one of the reasons why the Illuminatis promote the Egyptian religion and the Egyptian culture, because that's what, gave our enemies the power, is that the Hebrews broke the covenant for Egyptian paraphernalia, gods and all that old weak stuff. But if you go to Jeremiah chapter 44 and you get down to verse 15, then all the men which knew that their wives had burnt incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. So, us doing that Egyptian religion is what caused our problems, and that's why our enemies would want us to be anything or worship anything besides our Israelite heritage, because it empowers them. It gives them the power. It's like this Canaanite culture that we doing with the robbing, killing, stealing, and all that stuff. All that give our enemies power. Alright, Hebrews, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Our enemies trying to come in with this one new world order government, but they didn't have knowledge of that the people from the transatlantic slave trade are the true Israelites. So therefore they throw their whole plans out. It's a known fact now that the Hebrews ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, which is the quietest kept history on the face of this earth, and how did those Hebrews never return, and how did that change the whole world history up, because the people who present themselves to be Israelites are not the Israelites. So therefore the prophecy of redemption has not been fulfilled. So therefore these people ain't gonna be able to usher in they one world governments and all of those stuff, because the prophecy about the Israelites being resurrected is gonna come to pass, and it's gonna interfere with their plans, because they ain't gonna have no sovereignty over us, and how we will have sovereignty over ourselves. We will have a utopia once we free of this Canaanite Amorite culture that we Israelites are stuck in. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Wake up, brothers and sisters. We are the Israelites, and man, let's show these devils how we the Israelites, by saying that we broke covenant in the book of Jeremiah and ran into Africa to do the Egyptian religion, and how we never returned to the promised land. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.